My master's thesis focused on something called parasocial relationships. Parasocial relationships is a term that was coined in the 1950s by two academics to refer to the one-sided personal attachment that audiences at home developed with talk show hosts. And people still develop these parasocial relationships with talk show hosts today, apart from, of course, James Corden. That is the first academic instance of a parasocial rivalry. But thanks to the rise of social media, we are now developing these parasocial relationships with everybody, not just talk show hosts. And the parasocial relationships that I wanted to focus on were the ones that men develop on the internet with female public figures. These men are commonly referred to as reply guys, but if you've never heard the term, you have definitely seen their work. Someone like Katy Perry will tweet something completely innocuous like, "I'm having a nice day." And a reply guy will immediately come back with, "But what about Yemen?" Any reply guys in? I'll see you in the DMs. Look, there's all kinds of reply guys. The ones that I wanted to focus on were the ones that act like they are friends with these female celebrities. They're like way too over-familiar with these female celebrities. So in an instance like that, someone like Cheryl Cole would tweet something like, "I love me son." I got a dialect coach for that. Thank you, Diane. Worth every penny. Okay, so Cheryl Cole says, "I love me son." And then like an overfamiliar, super friendly reply guy will say something like, "They grow up so fast." And it's like, who the fuck are you? According to your profile picture, you're a fucking car. You ever seen the worst tweet you've ever come across and you're like, who the fuck is posting this? And it's just a Ford Fiesta. Challenging you to a fight in a parking lot. Though to a Ford Fiesta, a parking lot is home turf. That's my favorite joke of the show. Something for me, just the idea of a Ford Fiesta angrily driving in a mall parking lot. Furious about pronouns. Anyways, so when I first submitted my thesis, I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be a book. And then I got my marks back and I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be a musical. Then I heard myself sing, I was like, all right, this is a comedy show. Look, the reason I got a bad grade is because I kept interviewing my own reply guys. My academic advisor was like, this is not impartial. You can't just keep interviewing men who said you were hot on the internet. And I emailed back saying, I don't think I should incur academic penalties for having a perfect ass. Signed, Olga Koch, MSc, BBL. And I'll have you know, not all of them were men. One of them's a car. And look, it was really easy to go into these interviews condescending to these men, right? I was going in thinking, are you delusional? Do you not understand how social conventions work? Do you really think that you're friends with these women? But to be fair to them, within 1 minute of every single interview, all of the men immediately acknowledged that they knew they didn't know the women they were talking to. But even though they knew they didn't know the women they were talking to, they couldn't help feeling like they knew them. And think about it. Think about the stuff that we post on social media. People will post photos of the insides of their houses, selfies without makeup, ultrasounds of their unborn children. Ma'am, I've never met you. I don't need to see inside of you. An ultrasound is the duck press of porn. The boob is not enough. Send me the mammogram. 30 years ago, if you were exposed to any of that personal information, it would have to come from a friend or family member. So you can't really blame your brain for short-circuiting and assuming that you know the person whose menstrual cycle you've synced with via TikTok. So reply guys exist in this really contradictory space where they know they don't know who they're talking to, but they can't help feeling like they know them. But our feelings and our reality are mismatched all the time. Think about it. Do you miss your mom? Or is rent just due? I take advantage of this all the time. I'll bring a guy home, I'll put on some music, and he'll be like, I love you. And I'll be like, do you love me? Or am I just playing a song from when you had all your hair?